Hey guys, and welcome to My Deck Tech. Today I'm going to be playing Rabble Red, and this isn't the same Rabble Red deck that Tom Ross has been playing.
It's
and
pretty much like
all the
both of his
with.
babies combined.
Yeah, this is kind of like the what was it, Boss Sly mixed with Rabble Red, and we did lose a bunch of cards from Return to Ravnica in M14, which kind of makes me a little sad because I've been loving this deck lately. But you know, we did get a few new cards, and I think all the other decks got a little worse too. So.
Yeah, they're all going to be slow and clunky. And the thing about this though is, yes, we lost a lot of good cards, but not the reasons why the decks existed in the first place.
Yeah.
And that's really the powerful thing. Is like the best cards that made both decks viable are still here. Like when I was playing Rebel Red, I quickly realized that the two best cards in the deck were Rebel Master and Soaked Flames, and those are going to be around for a while.
Yay.
So yeah, I really like this deck.
All right, guys, well, let's go and take a look at the deck, and we'll talk all about the synergies and everything, blah, blah, blah. All right, so one of the new cards that I wanted to try out was Warname Aspirant, and this card I think is specifically powerful because it doesn't get blocked by Sylvan Caryatid, and it's unique in that effect, and most of these red creatures do get
why
blanked
doesn't it? Because it does say it's a 2/1 right now.
It is a 2/1, but it has a static ability that says creatures with power 1 or less cannot block it. But it also has another ability that if you attack with a creature, it has raid of it gets a +1/+1 counter. So if you lead with any of your 1-drops, attack with them, and then follow it up with a Warname Aspirant, which is a little awkward as Foundry Street Denizen, not gonna lie. But I think you have the option to do one or the other, which I like.
Pretty sure that you're just gonna attack
and
for
usually
one
you're
and be
just gonna
happy.
attack for one and then make a guy. Now Foundry Street Denizen is, I think it's a little bit better than Frenzy Goblin, simply because there are a lot of turns where you get to play Goblin Rabble Master and then make a Goblin, and that makes this into a 3/1 attacking immediately. It also combos incredibly well with a Crone Crusader when you start doing things like Titan Strength and Dragon's Mantle, and even Coordinated Assault to just start churning out a bunch of 1/1s and then attacking for a huge amount of damage. Coordinated Assault is a newer addition to the deck, which I think is necessary because we no longer have Legion Loyalist, aka 1-mana Chroma's Memorial.
Yeah.
But I think Coordinated Assault along with Goblin Rabble Master to give a first strike, as well as to trigger a Crone Crusader or Arena Athlete is pretty strong. The rest of the deck looks pretty straightforward. We're playing Fire Drain Crusader as our big 1-drop since we don't have Rakdos Cackler anymore. Mogus's Warhound is great because it functions as a 2-drop against a lot of strategies, while also allowing some of your smaller creatures to get over Corso Crewfix and Sylvan Caryatid, which is huge. 2 copies of Arena Athlete when you are able to target them with Dragon Mantle, Titan Strength, and Coordinated Assault can keep things from being able to block, which is important against things like Corsair, which we'll see today.
I will say one thing about Mogus's Warhound is that card did not see any standard play because there were just better choices, right? There was Burning Tree Emissaries and all of these awesome cards. But the thing is at the Block Pro Tour, when this was seen constructed play, every deck was playing Silence the Believers because it was a really good removal spell. So it also made him bad. He is in the perfect conditions to be awesome right now, where Silence the Believers is going to be a little too slow for the format, and there's no better option. So like this card is, and also like you were saying, and we'll probably see it in this video, like my plan of Sideboard is to anger all the gods, and the Warhounds do not really care about the gods.
Yeah, that's true. I think Warhound's going to be perfectly set as long as people don't jump on the Silence the Believers trains like that and block. I don't think you can actually do that.
No, not when you have all these aggressive creatures.
Yeah, it's just not going to be that great against you for the most part. Like, Silence as your main removal spell against Goblin Rabble Master is not very good.
No.
But as far as the rest of the deck, we have 4 Stoke the Flame, 2 Lightning Strike to finish out the removal suite, and then a Hall of Triumph, which can pump all your guys with Rabble Master. Crone Crusader, you get the idea. Go ahead.
The only thing that I want to complain about, and this is Tom speaking through me, I've been talking to Tom a lot lately, is 20 lands, buddy. That's a lot of lands.
I mean, I was going to play 19, but then I added the Hall of Triumph.
Yeah.
And I figured that, like, his original version had no 3-drops, right? Like, it was just all 1s and 2s, and he was only playing 18 lands with a Mutavault in the sideboard, you know. And
wasn't it 17 lands with a Mutavault?
It might have been 17.
Yeah, it was 17 with a
lands.
Mutavault in the sideboard.
So yeah, I mean, we're hedging a little bit. Like we could get flooded. That could be one of the main problems with the deck, and that was something that I was afraid of. Is that cards like Dragon Mantle in your opening hand kind of just sometimes turn into more lands. Same thing with Titan Strength, but. Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to kind of hope to get a little lucky and see if this deck is actually competitive. But yeah, this is the main deck. Let's go ahead and take a look at the sideboard. And I just want to note how much shorter my deck techs are than Brad's. And let's go and take a look at the board.
Yeah, it's because people like to hear me talk more than you.
Okay, and so in the sideboard, we have 1 new card, Jeering Instigator. And this guy seems really interesting to me. For 2 mana, you get a 2/1, and I think that that's a common theme with the morphed cards in this format. or in Konzotark here. And he has a really sweet ability that when you morph him face up, you get to threaten a creature until in a turn, but only if it's your turn. You can't do tricky stuff with them in combat, taking their guy and then blocking their own guy with it. So nothing super crazy.
Stuff.
You can't do crazy fun stuff, but you do get to sorcery speed threaten things like Polokronos, hopefully Arbor Colossus at some point. Just giant guys. There's so many giant creatures in this format that I think this card actually could be very good. Now, the argument remains to be seen whether or not this card is better than just Harnessed by Force. But I wanted to try him out because he was new, and hopefully he will be pretty good in this matchup, assuming that I can morph it before you play your Polokronos. The rest of the sideboard, we have 4 Magma Spray and 4 Searing Blood for any sort of other kind of aggressive matchup. Searing Blood has already proven, at least to me, how absurd it is in the current standard format, before the rotation, and I think it's going to be just as good in the same sort of matchups. 3 Eidolon the Great Rebel, which I think is just a great sideboard card against decks that are trying to lower their curve and just removal spell you to death. Another Coordinated Assault to help out in combat so that your Rebel Master can get through. And then a Peak Eruption for anybody who's trying to Chain of the Roxas. We just get to blow them out pretty hard.
Yeah, looks awesome.
Yep. All right, pretty straightforward sideboard, guys. Mono Red deck didn't gain a whole lot because this is a tricolor set. I may be working on this deck over the next couple of weeks and trying to find out different splash colors maybe that I could try out.
The real thing about a deck like this is like once we get to see what the format looks like, then you know how to build a mono red sideboard. Mono red and control decks are the same in the sense that you need to know what you're facing to have a good sideboard for them because your cards are low impact. So you have to know exactly which ones are like high impact in certain matchups.
Yeah, definitely true. All right, guys. Well, that's all for me and Rebel Red. Let's get to battle.
I've been waiting my whole life for this.
I don't like it when Brad whispers.